far today, things have been a little bit of a struggle for G2, at least against Big. But here we go, Big starting off on CT. And with a nice boost up onto Catwalk, Xantares is going to get some early information into middle. Might not be a very fun place for him to be in just a second, though.
Oh, look at that quick mid to B smoke and the flash off the Cat. But how does he get away with that? G2's still going to continue the strat, streaming through that mid to B.
Tizian going to challenge and will go down. Xantares will drop as well. Next needs to come up big here. Needs to find 1 or 2 heads and cannot. That should be now the round favouring G2. It's got B. Sits on the line. Won't be able to hit the headshots that he needs. Doesn't even have the opportunity. It started off so well for Big, but G2, nice pistol.
That was a filthy pistol strat. Just the pace of that. Like, he threw the mid to B smoke from top mid and then the pop flash for Cat. And they just stream out lower dark into B. That was beautiful. That was like the most perfect nerdy pistol I've seen in quite a while. Color me impressed already, G2. That is exactly the start that I want to see from them. See them keep things nice and clean here on their T side. I want to be able to see them stringing these buys together and keep Big nice and honest. A big thing for being able to have really strong T sides on your Dust 2 is to make sure that you don't let these CT's economy get too out of control. You don't want to let them have infinity orbs. You don't want them to let them have infinity orgs, and especially not the utility to be able to lock down those long A takes, as well as your quick plays into B and stuff like that.
Nice start. Get those kills onto the SMGs, farm up a little bit of cash. That's perfect for G2. Both of the B players now down for Big. But Xantares is still putting in work. Got B as well. They've dropped the bomb. There's a chance here for Big as they now find themselves some guns. G2, they don't want to let this round fall apart, but it certainly seems like they are. Xantares with 2 headshots out from the Deagle. Got B with the USP kill. And now the bomb well and truly in the control of Big, the player advantage as well. Some nice positions here for the CTs and Shocks. He'll drop as well. Xantares, he has not slowed down at all from Keish. This guy is an absolute monster.
So, you talk about needing to make the most out of your T side. That is exactly the opposite of what they wanted to do there. Now, G2's money is broken. They have given their opponents a bunch of weapons and a bunch of cash. 3k across God B, Xantares taps and a nice boost early on for the CT economy. And previously, you know, where it was Big in the last map, struggling against pistols, this time G2 falls to the pretty much full eco except for that Deagle of Xantares. And I mean, if Xantares has got a Deagle, there's always an opportunity for a round win.
Yeah, definitely. He is having a great day so far. It's going into the next round, obviously Big with a pretty reasonable buy behind them. Xantares once again looking toward middle. Does spot out Shocks, but backs away smartly. There's quite a few players from G2 hanging around in that area. Just playing it safe, peeking the angle. G2 milling around, not sure exactly what they want to do right now. Maybe throw some smokes in towards mid for a mid to B. Try to fake a mid to B. Some grenades do come down. Big damage out from the grenades. Xantares spamming through the smoke as well. He's going to get the tickle on the Shocks. Gets the assist on the body, and these grenades are absolutely decimating G2 right now. Is this Big, or is this Astralis? Well, maybe let's not go that far. But Xantares certainly is putting on a show for us. 7-1 for him right now, and 2-1 for Big.
Yep, so the force buy doesn't bear any fruit for G2. They're back in the bin. They're going to have to take another save, unfortunately. Then they'll be able to get back into the game a little bit more. Bomb plant would be absolutely huge for G2 in this round, as it would get them a fair bit more utility on the board. Now, Big, look at their economy already blossoming 1 to 2.5k-ish across a lot of these players on the Big side, and that's exactly what you don't want to see. Once the economy really starts going on the CT side of Dust 2, it's so much easier to rack a lot more rounds up on the board.
Not sure exactly what G2's doing.
Waiting for a push. Waiting for someone to get a little bit too hungry. But I have to say, for the most part, these big players don't seem like they hunt very much.
It's true. Got backing away in toward the A site. He'll boost next back up. Oh, maybe not. Yes, he will. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter. Xantares is there. Who cares what else is going on? Just keep the camera on Xantares at this point. Tabson just missing a shot with the AWP, but has a few more opportunities presenting toward him. Needs some backup though as he's starting to be rushed down. Hits the important shot, but eventually does fall. Doesn't matter though. The AWP is going to be recoverable. Good round win for Big. 4 guns through. Much better than some of the other anti-ecos that we saw on Cache.
So here's G2's opportunity to potentially get back into the game after a massive blunder that's put Big in a fantastic position on this CT side. Lots of players towards long here for Big. They're anticipating a long take to be coming out from G2, but G2 seems like they got a pretty good read on this one. A very fast approach towards Catwalk. They have some Catwalk control and some presence towards mid very early on in the piece here, but it seems like Big's got a decent read for this. I mean, Xantares fighting from sight. Nexus tucked very firmly into Goose there. And Tizian even punishes Shox looking for that mid pick. And I mean, that's something that was so instrumental in G2's T side on Dust 2 early against 3D Max. Shox was so good at coming out those mid doors and getting a key pick and just cutting the map in half with that mid to B smoke. This time he's instantly been punished for it.
Whoa, the grenades!
Every time.
Body down to 26 HP.
He hasn't got much of a body left.
No. Got to be a nice position here. Kenny S is going to have to obviously check that angle, but I don't know. If it gets down to a late round situation, maybe that's one of the angles that you don't check. Smoke's going to come out here from God B, which will give away his position. He's going to take quite a few tags. He's going to go down to the grenade. Gets caught off as a result of throwing that utility. That's not going to feel good. Back into the 4v4. Tizian's in a nice spot here to potentially deal with Lucky, who spams through the smoke, but Tizian well aware of it. Easy frag for him. Very, very sharp, and taps it over toward B. He's got some work to do. Hits a good shot. 19 seconds on the clock. One more kill here is enough for Big to shut the round down, and Kenny S getting tagged through the smoke. He's not going to go down. He'll escape into the B bomb side, and now there's a chance for G2 as the bomb is going to be planted in time. It's Xantares left alive though, so let's not count things out. Gets the headshot through the wall, and it's Kenny up against Xantares. An AWP in Kenny's hands. Xantares has no idea where he is. He's going to walk right into him, but he hits the shots anyway. It does not matter. Kenny S doesn't even see him. At least not till it's too late. And you cannot count Xantares out of the round until it's over. And that's going to be the 4th up for Big.
G2 needed that so much more than Big did, I felt like. Now, unfortunately, moving into this next round, you're looking at the money on some of these G2 players. There's not much money for utility at this point. If Kenny wants an AWP, it's going to be Glass Cannon. Otherwise, he's going to have to go for AK and util. And Kenny's not the guy that you want throwing util for the rest of the lads.
No.
You really want him put in prime position to be able to, you know, make the best of things and get some kills on the board. So G2 going to have a long, hard think about their options in this game. They could have got themselves off to such a strong start, but there's this other guy on the team called Big, recently joined, Xantares. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Can make it work with a Deagle.
I've heard of him before.
Once or twice.
Yeah,
seen
once
his
or
name
twice.
pop up in the kill feed a few times.
He was once a soldier of space. So I might call him an astronaut. I call him Tabson. Damn it, got the wrong name. It's 5:20 in the morning. Give me a break.
So much setup for so much disappointment.
I know, it's all gone wrong. Ah, whatever. We're into the next round. Let's just cut that one out of the... Yeah, that one wasn't live.
Alright. I mean, another quick one up towards Cat. This time Big's ready for it. Instant util drop by Gob. So aware. Another grenade. Lucky can have that one. Nice catch, mate.
Oh dear. Next will get one, but it was really going to be God B if not him. And this round is going to go quite easily for Big, perhaps. Tabson backing away. You're covered away by the smoke now. That does keep him safe, but Xantares, look at that. 228 ADR again. Over 200 at the start of a half. Absolutely insane. Kenny S and Shox the last couple alive, but they're not likely to be able to do too much here. I say that. The Deagles ring out. Tabson close with the AWP. Misses the shot. He just had his pistol out. Kenny S has no HP. Doesn't matter. The AWP does finally connect, and he gets another one across. Knows that he's hit. Pulls out the USP. I mean, again, another round that a little bit more close than Big would have liked.
And look,
Especially against pistols.
we're not too far into the half at this point. You're not too far into the half at this point. You're talking about heading into round 7. Still plenty of Counter-Strike to be played, and when you're coming down to rounds that close, you know, that's going to take a massive toll on Big's money. You're already seeing it. A couple of their players broke down to 1,100. Only really Tabson and Tizian with a fair bit of money in the bank. So if you're talking about a win for G2, I mean, with what they headed into in that round in particular, that's a lot of economical damage. Now they're onto the bye. Potential for them to be able to get their foot into this half.
Potential, but we've said that quite a few times and it hasn't always really paid off. Potential again for Big to just run away with the first half. Xantares gets his head chopped off. Shock's a nice shot. That's going to open up the A bomb site. Gob B looking to push up close, but he's the sole player on this side. If he doesn't manage to connect some good shots, that's going to be the A bomb site well and truly in the control of G2, and Big now looks like it's save time.
That's just one of those situations where I feel like both Gob B and Xantares were playing some pretty one-and-done positions where it's great if you connect the shot and you're able to get away. You know, you've created a massive opportunity for, you know, wasting G2's time in terms of trying to trade that kill and take back the territory where they've, you know, recently lost a player or whatever. Not to mention the fact that you get man advantage. But when you lose those kills and you lose that territory that you were investing, you know, your life in or whatever, it goes terribly wrong. And if you don't hit the shot, you know, it looks pretty foolish. It makes such an easy round for G2 to be able to win.
Well, Big trying to hang on to these guns. Tabson's on 1 HP. But Big have actually done a bit of damage here. They've managed, it looks like, to survive. Which is pretty big, actually, keeping those 3 guns through. And forcing the reinvestment of G2, whose money is really not that great right now.
That's a massive win for Big. I mean, look, they could drop 2 guns over. Even Nex, you know, could potentially... He doesn't even need to drop, my bad. Tizian can drop one over and they're straight back into the buy, whereas G2 looking a little worse for wear, that's for sure. So another important round where both teams' money is sort of suffering a little bit. Another quick cap boost going up. Xantares as well as Tabson. Xantares is going to let Tabson hop on his head. He's just going to fall back after that one flash. Shocks, oh my god, he's so aggressive.
Oh, Nex has been spotted out. Shocks goes down. Or rather, Shocks gets him. And Nex goes down. Shocks has been the playmaker, the opener for a few of these rounds. And it's starting to finally pay off for G2. Tizian has some work to do. Doesn't quite calibrate the aim quickly enough. Shocks, 2 kills in the round. 2 big kills. Impact kills.
100%. He's really dragging G2, kicking and screaming through this T side. It's a massive impact frags coming from him. Really felt like Big thought that G2 were really committing to that mid to B, and they fought so hard to trade those kills back. They were just diving through that mid to B smoke. That was never really a huge committal from G2 at any point. They were still all spread out across the map. It was just Shocks doing Shocks things in middle. And pretty much 3 to 4 of the big players were like, oh no, things are happening in middle. But it's just Shocks.
Yeah. A lot of pressure being exerted by him. We saw that as well against 3D Max.
For sure, yeah.
That exact position. This round should be a little bit more straightforward for G2. The Big doesn't really have the cash to invest into too much. Gob with just a USP here in Pit. Not a place you want to be. Up the creek without a paddle.
Yeah, look, from G2's approach, something's telling me that they really are not keen to lose to pistols again, but you know what? It might be happening.
Yeah, Gob's got a smoke now as well.
This is where the panic sets in. Flashbacks start going through your mind. Not again.
Not again, yeah. I mean, at this point, do you give that AK to Xantares? I wonder. Guess he doesn't have that much HP. Body pushing on in. If he doesn't check this corner, it's going to be dangerous. Oh, dearie me, it's all going wrong for G2 right now. A lot of damage done onto Kenny S as well from Tabson. Xantares will go down. Gob still with the AK here, can do a lot of damage in the B bomb site. The rotation's already started to come across. Tizian up on high. Does get checked. This might be just enough time for G2 to come back into it. They've managed to salvage it. But how dangerous that round really was.
That's a clincher for sure. Decent money for G2, though, all things considered. If they're able to hold on to all three of these guns, they should be totally fine. Can drop an AK over towards body. Rest of Big looking pretty good on the money heading into this next round, so back and forth Counter-Strike, that's for sure.
Oh well, no
It makes
AK.
it look so easy. Just click on his head.
Buy here for Big is maybe going to be not the choice, actually. I was going to say it was going to be okay, but it wasn't going to be a fantastic buy, so looks like they've just gone for the economic round here. Pistols, a bit of utility, some armor. 3 stack into B. No, 2 in mid.
Well, this just really shows how much Big really values the AWPs and making sure they have all the utility, all the bells and whistles. Maybe they won't even need any of that, though.
Yeah, I mean, last round was certainly interesting. This round could be as well. The grenade won't do any more damage, any further damage. Kenny S and Lucky do manage to bring things back in the favor of G2, but time and time again, Big are definitely probing. And B's getting a lot of information as well.
Forget information. He puts himself in a decent enough position. He can... Never mind. Well, at least Lucky knows that he's there now, so... He's seeing Jack start to move his way through lower dark. Catch him on the rotation back.
Made a bit of noise, though. B knows he's in a pretty bad position here. Needs to fight his way out.
I'm surprised. That's brave from G2 heading into a CZ in that range.
Didn't really need to be challenging it. Could have just run straight into B. Regardless, though, they do get the kill, so it works out pretty nicely in the end. AK in the hands of Xantares, though. So it's not all for nothing for Big just yet.
So certainly back and forth, but Big taking a few ecos in the middle of the half will concede the equivalent rounds to G2, 5-5. But like I've said before, I really feel like G2 needs to make the most out of this T side. And this is where the going gets a little bit rougher. Now that Big, they've allowed their loss bonus to build up, they've allowed their money to build up to the point where they can buy anything that they want. Can grab the auto sniper out if they wish to. Double augs, anything you like. It's yours. As for G2, obviously their money's totally fine as well, so we're going to head into some meaty gun rounds, that's for sure. No more of these eco rounds.
The meat and potatoes. Pretty important passage of play here for both teams now. As the first half kind of rests in the precipice.
It's a 2-1-2 setup from Big. They're not too scared of this long take from G2, and I can't really blame them. G2 was doing it pretty often against 3D Max, I have to say, but up against Big, there really hasn't been too much pressure over towards that long area. It really feels like G2 is putting a lot of emphasis towards middle and catwalk.
Yeah.
And Shox is doing a lot of that heavy lifting. Catwalk once again obtained. No long control for G2 though, so the question is, what do they turn this catwalk control into?
What can they, if anything? Xantares is here waiting.
He's on an all-ply with the AK.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter, I don't think. Give him anything. Give him a P250 and it's probably an AWP line for him. Kenny S takes a look into mid. Has recognized that Tabson's rotated off just a little bit. Heavy presence toward B right now for Big as well.
Yeah, they posted up Tabson over towards the platform. They're going to spend both Tizzy and the Nex into fighting this mid to B if it does come out. Really feels like Big, that's what they're hedging their bets against. Because there has been no pressure on long, which really reduces the likelihood that an A split's going to come out unless you only want to go with Cat. There's Tabson already opening things up. This is going to force the play from G2, and it's just not working out for them. This has been read perfectly.
Yeah, Shox maybe just one too many times through the mid doors. Xantares waiting for body through the smoke as well. Smoke's also kind of obscuring that bomb. This is not a good situation for G2 to be in. Obviously, 2 players, no control of the bomb. Not much they can do, and Big going to go through this round probably with 5 guns alive. G2 will get a buy through in the next, but this is just another opening for Big back into the half. Not that they were out of it, but more so to take control of it again.
I mean, 5 alive, that's just absolutely ridiculous. That's going to be a massive boost for their economy. As for G2, another buy into this one, and they'll have to have a little bit of think about where things went so wrong in that last round. It really just felt like Big was one step ahead that entire round in terms of the rotations. Tabson just running around with the AWP, doing everything he pleased. Really felt like they were quite convinced that was going to be some kind of mid presence or mid to B. In comes the long take, and Big's now playing a 1-1-3 setup, 3 towards long.
Is this going to be through the smoke? Yes, it is. It's been spotted out. Tizian will get the incendiary in. That's going to force the play back from G2 onto Catwalk up into the A bomb site. Gob spotting the line with the AUG, doing damage as well. Xantares, he doesn't even need the scope, just tapping heads with the AK. And he is unstoppable right now, 15 and 5. Put that on top of what he scored on Cage, and this is looking to be a monster series for him. And this is also looking to be maybe another round where Big go through with a large number of guns alive. Kenny S, though, has some other ideas. A nice shot onto Xantares, but for all the good it's going to do. He's in a 1v4. Gob B just chilling. Doing absolutely nothing. Doesn't matter right now. Kenny S spots one out. Tabson will go down. Starting to look more and more doable, but there's always one more. The round will go the way of Big, 7-5.
Big's change of setups, just of where they put their extra float player, has been so on point thus far in these last couple of rounds. I mean, they went for the 2-1-2 setup and rotated Tabson around where they really felt like that mid to B play was going to come out when the cap pressure was in from G2. That's the setup that they chose, and it was a really good setup. Once that worked so beautifully for them, they go back to the 3-1-1. They put 3 towards long A. They really used that utility to try to stop G2 coming out long hard, and it works perfectly. G2, they really wanted to take that long control there, and only one of them really gets out long doors before the utility cuts the rest of the team off and keeps them in long hut. And then after that, I mean, with that one player out long, they really try to force things on Cat pretty early on in the piece there, but the Big's already read it at that point. They've already realized, all right, we've got long. There's not too much pressure left here, and Gob, it's pretty hard to find him in the wrong position.
Yeah, certainly. Tabson.
Not a great read.
Yeah, it just seems like, again, the switch has been flipped. I've said that a few times tonight, but you just get a bit of a different sense out of these last couple of rounds than the rest of the entire map so far. Tabson sitting in the molly. Decides eventually to fall off, sacrificing a bit of his HP for the opportunity maybe to find another pick. Doesn't need it though. 4v5 is well enough an advantage for Big at this point. Especially considering G2 starting to get low on utility already. Very tough round ahead for the T side.
Yeah, and this is really where they need to make the difference, because they're potentially going to be put on an eco heading towards the tail end of the half, and you know, only looking at 5 or 6 rounds on your T side would not be ideal.
Yeah, especially considering how close this map has been up to this point. Like I said, it just seems like Big have turned something on a little bit here. Back towards the tried and true though for G2, the mid to B.
There goes
Has
the bomb.
worked, but not this time it looks like. And Taras will take an aggressive peek. That's fantastic! Gets 2 on the spray down. That'll most certainly win the round if the peek onto the bomb did not.
That's going to break G2. The money's in the bin. 2.5 across the board, enough to buy upgraded pistols or something like that and try to find a quick round win that way, but that's going to be it, I would imagine.
158 ADR out of 13 rounds for Xantares. That is a huge number to be keeping up. I'm very interested to see the stats after this game. It feels like it might be ending here on Dust 2 based on the last few rounds, but let's not count our chickens before they hatch. Tabson, how does he know? He's got the spider sense. The pistol's only for G2 in this round. They're keeping things interesting, but so is Tabson. Eventually he'll fall. 3v3. There's an AWP now for G2 to play with. Next goes down as well. What on earth are we looking at here? A 1v1. Tizian and Lucky. And Big, maybe another round where they're going to drop against pistols.
There's potential for that. The difference maker being that Tizian's very well aware of where the bomb is. So he's just going to post on that. Lucky's going to pick himself up the AUG though. Difference being though that Tizian's got armor. That aim punch is always a factor, ever present. But this would be a big steal for G2 if they're able to get Lucky to close this round out for them. because they need every T round that they can get. I'm feeling confident that Big should have a pretty strong T side on this map. And if G2 can't get the money flowing on the CT side, if this game is back and forth, it's going to be really hard for G2 to come away with this one, and you could be looking at Big heading to Sydney.
All down to the timing now for both of these players. Tizian just having a peek. If he gets the timing right, maybe he spots Lucky as he goes up into the window. Doesn't quite get there. I think recognizing now that the bomb has been stolen away and starts to creep his way toward B. Lucky still with no idea exactly where his quarry is. Smoke down for the mid doors. Does give an opportunity for Tizian to just grab a bit of space quickly. And Lucky creeping towards back of sight. Doesn't have any armor, so he needs to hit the first shot. Otherwise, Tizian will win this round. Here we go, through the smoke. Doesn't manage to land too many shots. Into the shot for Tizian. The headshot as well to boot. Doesn't matter whether it was a headshot or not. It was probably going to be Tizian. As soon as that came a prolonged aim duel, the aim punch was going to be too much, I think. 9-5 for Big, a crucial clutch for, well, really more so for G2 to actually lose than for Big to win, but nonetheless, nice round to actually finally finish off for Big, even if it took a little while to get over the line.
Kenny's rolling out with the AWP. See if he can catch one of these B players jumping up to the platform or below for himself, but no one's crossed as of this moment. Once again, long control taken by Big without very much emphasis there, but the aim duel goes 1 for 1. Should favor G2. It's going to cause some pretty big rotations coming out as Xantares is the only one on the A side of the map. See these B players, which in what was originally a 2-1-2 setup, really want to slide over to that A side of the map, but with G2 posted up in the doors here, their movement's pretty prohibited.
Not a bad grenade onto Kenny S, just to soften the target a little bit. Who's going to make the first mistake? Well, it's going to be Next. A great shot hit by Kenny S. He's hitting some magic today, but so is Xantares. I don't even know what to say.
He's the only one on that side of the map. He was left there by himself for like 30 plus seconds.
As soon as you said that, I was like, yeah, but it's Xantares. You know, like, you can bet on him getting 2 or 3 frags every single round.
It's just the mastermind got B, RGL. Everyone else go B, Xantares go A. We've held down both bomb sides.
10-5 the first half. Big will be pretty happy with that, and Xantares is really just dismantling G2 at this point. I think if it is going to be Big that go through to IEM Sydney, which right now it's looking like they're only 6 rounds away from it, the rest of Big need to be giving him a pat on the back.
So here it is, up against the ropes. G2 are going to have to make the comeback on their CT side on a map where you can't have a close game. You need to be stringing your rounds together. You need to get your economy building up and flowing. If Kenny can't get an AWP in his hands, if they don't have the utility to be able to stop some of these faster strats coming out from Big, to be able to stop them taking the long control, because we know that they can do it. We know how good they are at using their utility to be able to take territory, at just having the fundamentals down pat. If G2 don't have the util to be able to handle that, or the AWPs to be able to get themselves easy, quick advantages in some of these rounds, that's going to be all she wrote for them.
Well, here comes Big, straight toward the A bomb site, straight toward Jax. And the Glock train keeps on rolling. Kenny S, he'll get 1, not enough. 2 for 1 favoring Big. Obviously puts them in a pretty good position here. Shock's on the site, just carrying away behind the boxes, but Big not sure that they want to commit to the A site just yet. A lot of time to play with, so no need to get hasty. Change things up. Lucky has an inkling that maybe they're going to head toward B, but it is but a fake, and all that that has achieved for G2 is forcing an extra player further away from the site. The rotate will be longer, and they desperately need the rotate onto the site right now. It's a 2v4. I might as well call it a 1v4 right now for Body, because he is the only one that's going to make a difference in this round right now. Gets the shot onto Next, but really, Next certainly has quite a few teammates to back him up there, and Xantares fittingly cleans up the pistol round. And a pistol round for Big. 11 up now for them.
So G2 already off on the wrong foot. Gonna pick up the scouts, try to get back into this game the risky way. So if they do drop this round, then they're going to be looking at the double eco back into the third gun round, in which they won't even have fantastic money. Really is no option for them then to be able to take this round away. And Big, they're really minimizing the risk that these scouts can have. I mean, potentially they throw these smokes out onto the cross for CT as well as the smoke on towards short, and they only really have one flashbang to be able to stop the scouts consistently re-peeking, although, you know, that also works.
Yeah. Smokes down to allow the cross here for Big. Let's see what Kenny S does. What?
He just hit
two?
two?
The first one I'm like, okay. Second, I don't even know. Shox is going to be able to clean up the damage that Kenny S was able to do, the janitorial duties for him. But body boosted up will be dropped by Tizian. And for all the heroics and excitement there from Kenny S, it really doesn't matter. Lucky's in a 1v4, doesn't have any armor, only with a scout. Not a winnable round for him.
That's just worst case scenario for G2 at this point, unfortunately.
Oh, hello. That looked dead on. Well, this will be 12 for Big. So what was 6 rounds now turns to 4. IEM Sydney 4 rounds away. Can you believe that?
Can. That's pretty big.
Nice. Pay that one.
What are you going to say to your German friends when they turn up, Jordan? That's what you really need to be thinking about.
I'm going to say hello. Guten Morgen. Definitely not what you wanted me to say.
No. Beautiful shot. Alright. So now G2 on the save into the next round, where they may not even have the most fantastic money to be able to get double orbs. Maybe not even singular unless they're going to glass cannon it. And Tabson's pretty good at shooting people through objects with the scout.
Yeah, Jack's burning alive as well. He'll go down. A little bit of damage onto God B, but realistically, what does it matter? Kenny S just gets domed. Xantares, he doesn't stop. 23 and 9. He's a fantastic player to watch. Not if you're a G2 fan, perhaps.
Bomb has been planted.
So a lot of these big players surviving is just going to continue to build their economy up even more. As I say that, Body's found himself a pick. Almost gets Tabson too. It's all on Shox. I don't even think he has enough time to ninja, so... What does he? No, I don't think so. He's just missed it. So this is do or die for G2, really. Looking at their money, I mean, you know, you can buy orbs, I suppose. Gonna need one. But it's gonna be a glass cannon for Kenny. Rest of them pretty decent utility. So it starts here, I suppose. They've got to be big on consecutive gun rounds. They've got to use their utility wisely. Big have been pretty good with their grenades, and Kenny doesn't have armor, so that's a worry point for me. I'd imagine that it's going to really limit Kenny's potential to go aggressive with the AWP, perhaps.
Well, you never know. It is Kenny S. So, he can do some pretty crazy things. Oh, but I mean, we need to see some crazy things. Yeah. It's almost starting to feel like a foregone conclusion. 13-5, 3 rounds away. That timer is ticking away. It's not even a timer, but the chances, I suppose, are ticking away for G2 round after round. Sooner or later, it's Los Gets, nach Australian for Big. Very close for them.
It's a nice simple utility to be able to take the long control, but Big wasn't really contesting there. Single Molotov and a smoke. Now Big using a bit of util to be able to set Xantaras to go up into catwalk and find himself some headshots. He's going to find no headshots for now, but he does find a lot of territory. They put some pressure on middle. They've countered the grenades over towards long, and they've obtained themselves cat control. All for very little. They've got a lot of utilities still left.
Big deciding to just slow things down a little bit. They've taken quite a bit of damage. Not too keen to keep things going the way that they have been, but Petizian, he'll get knocked down a peg.
That's a great push from Jax. That's going to be the big difference maker because it really does stop the lurking potential for Big. It really does stop that extra person being over towards middle, and they're going to be pushed heavily towards B. Lucky's got so much utility still. With 38 seconds to go, he can literally just spam grenades towards the tunnels. And Big are going to have a real tough time coming out of there, I would imagine.
Well, you would imagine that, wouldn't you? But it doesn't always work out the way we would imagine, especially when Big is out to play, when Xantaras is out to play. He does only have 14 HP, but still makes some magic happen. There's an opening frag for him, and that's the B bomb site, Philly. Exactly as I expected. Well, not necessarily expected. I'll take that back. I didn't expect that. But at least there was always the chance for Big to make something happen, and they have. They've got the bomb down. There's a 3v2. Tabson with an important frag onto Shox, and now can control upper dark. Kenny S does hit a crucial shot, but it's Tabson. Sorry, Xantaras.
Love it. Love that angle.
In the 1v1 again, and it's again going to be Xantaras that wins the round for Big. He is just unstoppable. And if I could speak something in Turkish instead of German, I would, Pilly. But unfortunately, my linguistics only go as far as English and German.
Well, I'm just going to say that was delightful.
Wunderbar.
So now G2, pretty lackluster weaponry, not a whole lot going for them. Big just in complete control. This is where they needed to really turn the series around.
He's not missing a shot, is he?
The aim's so mechanically crisp, so robotic. It's not fair.
I think right now is when G2 is probably morally defeated after losing that clutch to Xantaras and the opening pick in this round. This is where you start to feel, yeah, we've lost this match. Maybe not. Maybe they still have some hope. Maybe there's still a chance here for G2. Jackson Shox. They combine 3, and they certainly think so. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves yet. Round is not won. The game's not yet won by Big.
Bombs dropped it long. It's going to be pretty difficult to recover from Big. I really think the name of the game at this point for Big is going to be the damage. Try to take as many guns away from G2 as possible. Try to give as many imaginary HLTV points to Xantaras as possible. It's pretty important. Arguably more important.
Absolutely. He's already got a couple of kills in this round. So let's see if he can find some more. Let's not count Xantaras out just yet. It's obviously a massive crossfire for him to deal with. The grenade's going to put him down to 1 HP. The 1 HP clutch. The dream is dead. But not so yet for Big. Or for G2, it must be said. 6 rounds is what they've got to their name. Oh, it would have to be something of a magical comeback for G2 if they were to make this map their own, but still doable in theory.
Interesting buy from Big. Feels like everybody got what they wanted for Christmas except for Nex.
Maybe he wanted a P250.
Maybe he's a simple man. He doesn't need the fancy toys.
Not materialistic at all. Well, look at this big stack on long from G2. Could go all wrong if Big are able to line them up. Flashbang's coming through, and Shox is the first one to find a frag, and that is incredibly crucial for G2. Bomb now dropped as well. Big have no option but to try and fight for it. And it's all going to have to be on Gob B. He was able to get a couple, but there's just too many players for him to deal with. And
such a weird defense from G2. They're all just playing anti-flash up against the wall, and that's their defense. Their defense is everybody chill on this wall here. Big always throw flashbangs, so we're just going to wait for those to come in, and we'll fight them when they come around the corner. And it worked out. Like, you can't fault that, but it's just like, it's so weird to see.
Sounds good. For G2 at least. Attack pause for Big. A couple of rounds going the way of G2, which is obviously against the grain. Big would have wanted to have finished the game off by now, I think. They would have certainly felt like they could have. But be left wanting just a little bit. This round should be an eco. Maybe a little bit of pistol purchase for Big, but nothing past that. Obviously plenty of time still for them to really get everything in order. So in the grand scheme of things, the next couple of rounds aren't a huge deal for Big. But if they just can keep G2 honest, keep them under pressure, I think that's the most important thing right now.
Yeah, 100% agree. Just use those pistols to put yourself in some pretty decent situations where you're able to try to take as many guns off G2 as possible, keep their money nice and low, and that will make this game, closing out this game, a hell of a lot easier. It's not only that though, like Big are actually pretty good at winning a lot of these rounds with the pistols. I've seen it time and time again. If they can put themselves in this decent position, if they can get some good flashbangs in at the right time, they can really put a lot of Glocky boys up in your face real quick before you expect it.
That Deagle for Xantara certainly can make something happen. We've seen that from him already in this map. G2 suffering from it, losing a round. Xantaras will be the one that takes the initial peek. That forces Shocks off the angle. So a minor victory for Big.
Question going to be, how effective will these flashbangs be at this point? It's looking like a cat execute. The smoke actually thrown over towards long for Tizzy in there to come out of the hut and apply a little bit of pressure.
Well, Kenny S certainly under no pressure at all. Some pretty quick, clean frags from him. And a pretty quick, clean round for G2 as well. Not much there for Big. What's the choice here for Big? Are they buying in?
Should do.
Should. Xantaras is going to only be able to afford a flash, but everyone else should get a pretty decent amount of utility.
Works for me. I don't want to see Xantaras with a grenade in his hand. Waste of potential. Have to say though, great job from G2 on that last round. Keeping it so clean, keeping it a lot of the guns up, not using too much util, making sure that they can get their economy rolling. And that's really what they need to be able to put this comeback together. Because they've got very little room for error. The second that they start to run a little bit low on money, they could be missing that one crucial smoke, that one crucial incendiary that could have been the difference between Big closing out this game and G2 being able to bring it back into OT or 16-14.
Kenny S has been a catalyst for some success of G2 today so far. Having a look into the mid doors, sees a little bit, expecting the mid to be. Smokes off the upper tunnel. This is looking bad right now for Big, but if they can make the split work, take control of the B bomb site, that'll be the round over. An important shot missed for Tabson. Big back away. Could swindle themselves straight onto the A bomb site if they go quickly now, but the time is running out. The players are coming up mid, and Jax will get to. Won't even be shut down. He actually manages all four.
That's a classic. I love how Shocks is just sitting at top mid behind him. He's like, all right, Jax, you run out, maybe get one or two and die, and I'll clean them all up. Never gets an opportunity to do anything.
That's the dream, isn't it? Not having to do any work.
Depends. Depends how many how much internet points matter to you. Or whether you like going to a nice sunny place called Sydney, which was not particularly sunny yesterday, I have to admit.
Internet points matter a lot to me. That's why everyone should follow me on Twitter.
So what was your Twitter again? Was it Pilly CSGO or
No,
I can't?
it was at Elfish Guy. Exclamation mark pastor in the chat. Shameless. Xantaras, though, also shameless with the headshots, looking for another 30 bomb. I say another. I don't know that he actually got 30 on Cache, but I'm kind of assuming that he did.
He did. Pretty sure he did.
This has been a monstrous game from him.
Some would say a large game, or other synonyms of that nature.
Yeah. Ginormous. gargantuan.
So, gonna have a few Deagly boys trying to walk up catwalk. Ooh, a bit of a run boost, maybe to try to throw off the aim. Perfectly executed. It's worked beautifully. Shox doesn't even peek, he's so terrified.
Oh, well, maybe he had reason to be terrified as another head goes flying off a G2 player. Bomb plant is going down. It's 2v3 at the very least. Player advantage for G2. But right now, there's still a chance for these big guys to win another round. Deagles just requiring that one shot. If they get it, it looks like it's falling by the wayside. Body and Jax finish it off.
3
Big
alive.
will have to wait another round.
Yeah, not too bad, all things considered. So now 10 for G2. Big. Got quite a few more gun rounds still left in them. I mean, G2 is going to have to probably win every round consecutively from here against a gun round. They've got 10k in the bank across a lot of their players, but if these rounds can start to get close, it could be difficult for G2 heading over towards 15, 14, etc.
Yep.
Towards the later part of this half. You never know. Sometimes the CTs, they can string rounds together, but if they're closed rounds, CTs can slowly start to run out of money. Whereas the Ts, I mean, if you got the loss bonus built up and you're getting those bomb plants, it really doesn't matter. Even if you don't get those bomb plants, you know, you can get the AKs, you can get some smokes and some flashes. Even if you do have to take like a half buy, you still got to respect the CZ armor with a couple well-placed nades from Big. That could be your undoing.
Yeah. One more tack pause left for Big here. They would be quite happy to not need it. Definitely has slowed down a little bit here for Big. But Tabson deciding not to take the shot.
Looking like a quicker mid to B from Big this time around. Or are they going up cat?
Well, they're certainly giving Shox a lot to think about. Because he's not really doing much seeing. He's got much better to do. Tizian's already out long quickly. Knows there's a player in pit. Does win the aim duel. That's Jax down. And Jax has been a real thorn in the side for Big. It's an important pick there for the T side. Brings it back to a 4v5 again. A few 4v5s that we've had for Big that they haven't been able to close out. So here's another opportunity.
Big really slowing it down here. For what purpose is the question. I mean, got B and Xantaras that have rotated around towards Catwalk, and they now have a bit of utility over on that side of the map. G2, with the time that Big's taken to sort of slow things down, have now been forced to be a little bit more honest. Lucky's had to fall over towards the middle side of the map. So, regardless of where Big go, it's going to be 2 players on either side to deal with.
That's a big pick onto Kenny S. He has been a linchpin holding the A site for G2. Not to mention it's now a 2-player advantage for Big. Tabson will drop, so long control still possessed by Shox. The bomb plant's going down for short anyway. Big are very happy with the situation that they found themselves in. Big from Xantaras, a little over-eager. Does give the opportunity to Lucky, and he takes advantage of it. But retaking the A bomb site right now with a double AWP setup, I don't think is really what G2 want to be doing. And what they can be doing. Lucky, the pressure getting to him a little bit there. The team damage, these grenades doing some work. A good shot from Lucky, but Gob B responds in kind. Deagle headshot onto Nex. 1 HP for Gob. Can he clutch it out? The answer right now is looking like no, and it will be the case. Shox has time to defuse the bomb, and G2 will survive for just another second.
What was that from Lucky? He's shooting everything that comes on his screen. It's just so unbelievable.
Even his own teammate.
I know. How have they come away with that, though?
I actually don't know. Retake.
How do you retake from CT?
Double up.
Like that?
I mean, the grenade, to be fair, did a huge amount of damage.
Yeah.
But he kind of killed him with a AWP shot and a headshot from a Deagle, so it kind of doesn't matter at that point whether the damage from the grenade came out or not. But
I'm not going to complain. I mean, if G2 is going to be able to come back in this game, they need a few breaks like that.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, you could go 29-8-15 and you could still overpeak the guy in CT
and lose the round.
Open up the opportunity for G2 to be able to come back into it. So
definitely. Well, it's time for Big to just calm down a little bit. You can tell they really want to close this out, but it's just starting to get to them a little bit. Mid has been given to them for free here. And Tara's throwing some utility in there, trying to get some attention from G2. Once again, the A site relatively undefended. Big can just walk up, put that bomb down. We'll have to deal with Kenny S first.
Heavy setup over towards mid and B. G2 really feels like Big haven't been putting as much pressure onto B as they have towards this A area of the map. So possibly expecting B to be the go, but it will not be the case. Big, this is their trademark. Execute over towards A. Kenny's going to be playing retake, see if he can get 1 or 2 picks as they cross to the bomb side. He can indeed, and one onto Xantares is absolutely huge. Yeah. Crab walk there from Gob to be able to get the bomb down for the catwalk plant. And it's going to be on G2 to retake with the man advantage. Looking pretty good for them.
Well, they're going to know that Gob is more or less stuck on the site right now, so one player's position is known. Where the rest are is the real question. Tabson tagged down to 10, but that doesn't matter as Shocks goes down into a 4v4. Body looking to push up. Maybe he can spot out next here. Next decides to just run away. Smoke down, that's a good one. Gob B has some work to do. He'll do it well. Body does not go down. In fact, Jack saving his life into a 2v2 now. Timer ticking away. Tizian peeks through the smoke, double spray down, and wins the round for Big. Now 1 away from Sydney. And G2 Esports so close, yet so far from that round.
I love how they even avoided that whole mid area that Tizian was really locking down on the lurk, and then he comes through Cat on a great timing to be able to sneak through the smoke and close that one out for Big. Really good effort from G2. They really stuck to the game plan there that they set for themselves, but unfortunately wasn't enough. They put themselves in a great position, the 5-on-4, but not able to make it work, unfortunately. Quick pace into mid here from Big, looking to really stamp out any hopes that G2 might have with a quick mid to B.
Xantares is still searching for the 30 bomb, and if he gets it, it might not be enough to get the round win for Big here. He'll drop straight away. Lucky and Body opening up quite large. Body gets the timing perfect, drops the bomb, drops everyone. Tabson in a 1v5. He won't last much longer. Kenny S dispatches of his counterpart.
That's huge for G2. Look at the money over on Big. Like, they're going to have a real tough time coming back into this one. They might have 1 proper buy left in the half at this point, honestly. Whereas 4 alive for G2. Really on the warpath to be able to bring this one into OT. They really want to fight for this qualifier spot. Big. I would be getting pretty frustrated at this point.
Well, it's just 1 round. That's all they need. They can be frustrated later. Right now, they just need to focus on getting the 1 round. And Xantares, well, he's hit 30. I said if he hits 30, it might be enough to get the win, and it might actually come from this round.
Surely
the Pistols,
it.
5v3 now for Big. Xantares opening it. Tizian helping out. Shocks here. Might be the hero, though. He'll spray down 2. One of the players did have a gun there as well, but Xantares hits another fantastic headshot. 3 players still alive for Big. Xantares, can he do it again? Shocks. He knows there's a player behind him somehow, but Xantares gets a free shot onto Lucky. What was he looking at? 2v1 for Shocks. Xantares with 3 in the round from the Deagle and the 4th as well. And that is going to be that.